And we are back taking care of business on Saturday mornings on WHP 580. I'm Michael Parkson. Thank you very much for joining us this morning as we spotlight our fine area businesses, learn about them, and learn about their products and services, and sometimes some of the products and services you may not be aware of here in central Pennsylvania. Well, we are not officially into summer. We're into all the fun of summer here in central Pennsylvania, and one of the greatest and one of the huge events that is coming up in central Pennsylvania is coming up this month, and that is the Big 33 Classic, which will be going on at Hershey Park Stadium later on this month. And over the next half hour, we're going to learn more about the Big 33, what makes it special, what makes it different, and also a little look behind the scenes of the Big 33. And we're joining us today is our good friends from CPRS Physical Therapy and their involvement with the Big 33 and so much more. So we'd like to welcome back our good friend Jeff Shields. Jeff, happy summertime and Big 33 season coming up, man.
Morning, Mike. Thanks for having us today.
Hey, why don't you, first of all, let's start off a little bit about CPRS. Just quickly tell us about, who you are, what you do, and how you would benefit us, all of us here in Central PA.
Sure. We're actually celebrating our 30 years in service to the community. We're celebrating this year. Real excited about that. We're a locally owned company. Husband and wife started the company back in 1983, Rick and Vicki Trimbur. And we're currently also an employee-owned company, which makes us much different than a lot of other companies that do what we do as well.
Yeah. Why don't you introduce our guest today? We've, it's always great that we bring in some special people who you've worked with CPRS, so involved in the community in central Pennsylvania, and the great staff that you have there. And we love when you bring in, people to talk about, the work, working together as a team with CPRS. So introduce our guest today.
Yeah, real honored today to get Dave up this early, but we have the Executive Director Dave Trimbur of the Big 33, and he's going to share some ideas about the game and also how CPRS and our sports medicine physical therapy staff collaborate and network with the Big 33.
Well, Dave, thank you very much for taking time out of your, this is a busy time for you. The Big 33, a lot of us know about the game itself, but really don't know, everything that surrounds it and everything, how it all got started. So we're going to go back and give a little lesson in knowledge of the Big 33. So first of all, take us on a little history course here about the Big 33 and how the game started.
Yeah, the game started with the Patriot News 55 years ago as we enter into our 56th year. The first time a roster was named for the Big 33, the game actually wasn't played. Herb Adderley was named to that team. If you're an old football fan, everybody knows Herb Adderley. We didn't actually play the game till the second year. So this would be our 57th, but we're actually in the 56th game right now.
Always been at Hershey Park Stadium?
No, it actually was played in Wilkes-Barre 1 year, Altoona, and Johnstown for a total of 7 years. Wow. The rest has been at Hershey. It's been at Hershey since, I think the last time it was played outside of Hershey was in the 60s.
Yeah. Can you just talk, and describe how great a game this is when it comes to not only, high school football, but football as a whole?
I think that with so many national all-star games on the scene now, everybody forgets that there's never been a Super Bowl played without a Big 33 alumnus. This year we had 3 in the last Super Bowl. We've had upwards of 13 players from our game in the Super Bowl each year. Wow. So I think what people forget is there is so much talent coming from the state of Pennsylvania, and now with us moving over to Maryland for the first time in 21 years, the talent that comes out of Maryland right now, they had 121 Division I recruits this past year.
Oh, my goodness.
Larger than Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Wow, that is just absolutely incredible. The game itself has just been huge. Not only is it a showcase of the talents, but there's so much more, It's kind of like, it helps these kids mature. It gives them an idea. It's a lot for the kids, around here. And tell us about how important it is to the athletes.
I think the biggest thing that the athletes get from this game is 2 different things. The first thing is the competition level that they see for the first time. So many of these kids are the studs on their high school teams, and, there may only be 1, 2, or 3 on that high school team. Well, they step on the field for this game and that first practice on Monday morning, a week before the game, and they're seeing a kid across the line from them, a defensive back across from them that have as much speed, as much talent, as they have.
Yeah.
And, Jeff, I know being around the game for 4 years can tell you their faces change immediately when saying, oh, this kid is as good as I am, where I used to dominate over these other kids. Yeah. And the college coaches, that's probably the biggest thing that we say of why we get support for this game is those college coaches, when they report a week later, they've already went up to similar talent, whereas everybody else coming into the college camps, they don't know that yet.
Yeah.
So these kids are so far advanced coming into that. The other side of it is our buddy program. These kids get paired up with the special needs kids during the whole week, including the cheerleaders have a buddy with them. And just the unconditional love that you see these special needs buddies give these players, and these players are humbled by their ability that they have.
Yeah, I think that's that's got to be because, as you mentioned, these kids are the BMOC, the big men on campus. They are the studs, and then all of a sudden they come out there and they are paired with a child who's going through so much in their lives, and realize how fortunate that they are to have not only the talents but the opportunity that awaits them. It's probably kind of like boot camp. It was like you're putting these kids through boot camp and basic training. Then when they go to college, it's not smack them in the face. It's a little bit better that way.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that really changes or is different for our game compared to other games. They'll just fly them in, put them in an all-star game, and they don't have those other experiences. One, they may take them to the hospital floor for 1 hour.
Yeah.
But this allows them to change their lives. And quite honestly, a lot of these guys, they stay with host families in the local area also, and that's the first time they're away from home, and they're staying with a family they've never met. So I think between that and the buddy program, it really changes stuff. And they stay in touch 20, 30 years down the road with these kids.
Originally, the game was played when? What was the month?
It was originally in July.
In July.
Yep.
And then it moved to June. Reason for moving to June?
We had to move it to June because the NCAA changed the rules where the kids could report for summer sessions. And there will be probably 35 of these kids will leave that game that night and drive straight through the night to report to their colleges the next day or the day after because their reporting date has just moved up. And, everybody goes, why do you got to do it so early in June?
Yeah.
It would lose all these players. We literally have that week in this year because of, some of the flooding that we had due to the hurricanes. Graduations are literally as late as Thursday of game week.
We played games against Ohio for a number of years, and now we'll be playing against the best of Maryland. The reason for switching to Maryland? You mentioned one thing about the talent pool.
The talent. Every year we go back and visit the states. I went out and talked to New York, New Jersey. I've talked to Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, Ohio, and we deal with their coaches' associations, and we had been with Maryland for 20 years. And prior to that, we were with Maryland, and we played them for 9 games prior to that. And what we try to do is put 5-year deals together, and we just seen that talent level soaring in Maryland. We saw that it's right across the state, and half the kids in Maryland can get to Hershey, Pennsylvania quicker than our kids
from Ohio.
Yeah. So we thought it was just kind of a natural progression in getting more kids involved locally, getting them, and that talent level just, it kind of wowed us when I started looking at that 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think people are going to realize that and are going to see one heck of a good game. Dave Trimbur is joining us, the Executive Director of the Big 33 Classic, which is coming up later on this month. For more, go to big33.org. Also joining us today, Jeff Schultz from CPRS Physical Therapy. Jeff, we don't talk about this enough, but CPRS's involvement in regard to football. We always talk about, how you help the everyday Joe, the everyday athlete, the everyday worker on the job and on the line, heal them. But you guys have really done a lot with high school sports. Tell us about that briefly.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Currently, we're involved with approximately 20 area high schools, and we're there every day, of course, and we're very involved with the physical process, doing the health physicals, health forms, working very closely with all the team physicians, working very closely within the communities as well. We try to stay ahead of everything. For example, last year with all the different concussion rules and so forth, a big part of what we do at CPRS with our athletic trainers is the educational component. We educate the parents, we educate the coaches, we educate the athletic directors. That's important because whenever you're changing rules, it's important to educate the masses so so they do know how to deal with it when they do get a concussion, how to follow the protocols.
I think that the game has changed so much. It's these guys are getting faster, and equipment is state of the art. But as a parent of an athlete, you got to feel good when you look on the sidelines and you can see members of the CPRS staff there, because you feel so helpless if you're up in the stands and your kid is down there. Dave, what have you seen that CPRS has brought to and helped you guys out with the Big 33?
Yeah, CPRS has been with us for the last 4 games, and we continue over the next 5 with CPRS. One of the things when we were looking for our athletic trainers and people to come on board to take care of our athletes, we wanted to know that somebody that, these kids are going on to Division I scholarships, and that's what their first question the parents ask us: who's going to take care of their kids? Who's going to protect them? And CPRS has just brought us tremendous amount of knowledge, and they've even helped us in the fact of where we've changed the practice schedule. We've modified the practice schedule to follow the NCAA protocol for practice schedules to keep the kids fresh, to keep them safe, to understand what needs to happen.
Yeah. So it's, back in the day, when we were playing, it was like the only thing we really had to worry about was the heat, heat or cold and stuff like that. But there's so much more. Am I correct? Has the game really gotten so fast? These guys, these athletes are just incredible.
The size and the speed of this game from the time that I played till now, you just can't even compare it. You see on that field the collisions that happen. You see, they're fine-tuned machines right now. Before we just went out and played.
Went out there and played.
Now they're just, it is amazing, what they go through to get their bodies into the shape that they are. And CPRS is able to help us understand that game and adjust the game and what the athletes need at this point.
How many guys will you have on staff, Jeff? I mean, like when you guys are out there for the Big 33, do you really notch it up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll have 6 certified athletic trainers. We'll have 3 on the PA side, 3 on the Maryland side, and then one of our PA will always travel and cover the cheer team. Because quite frankly, the cheerleaders,
that's something else too. It's like no longer it's just like standing around clapping.
No.
There are moves and acrobatics.
They're 70+ cheer team, and they practice longer and probably harder than a football team. I mean, if you come out and watch them train, it's unbelievable what they do and how skilled and how athletic they are. So we have an athletic trainer there the whole time that they're practicing. So we'll have 6 certified athletic trainers. We have 3 college athletic training interns, students that come in. We give them that opportunity. It's a great enrichment for them as well. And then our MD staff will have close to 6 to 7 physicians game day. And then also the Sunday before the game, we do physicals for every single athlete, every cheerleader, Maryland team, and PA team. And we'll have 6 or 7 physicians that day as well. And we do an extensive research. When we do the press conference with Dave and his team, which this year was back in March, we'll get those health forms and we look at them soup to nuts, see what their history was. Did they have a concussion over the last year? Or did they have surgery? If they had surgery, we'll reevaluate and make sure they're ready for the game, because we don't want any athlete. It's a risk and reward factor in this game, and we don't want any athletes coming out if it's a risk that they're not healthy, if they're not fully rehabbed from surgery, and we look at the history. So we really try to be really extensive with dealing with the athletes.
Dave, when it comes to all-star games, what is there anything different the way the game is played? I mean, to protect the athletes, like from injury, are there? I know there are certain rules and the way the game has changed. Give us those briefly.
Yeah, I think that probably the biggest thing is, we play a 4-3 defense, and the defensive back safeties have to play man. Okay. So you can't really crowd that line, hammer that running back. We try to keep it so that the game is very interesting, but also the safety of the players. You're not just pounding it and, really getting in there. So that part of the game and, that man-on-man defense really brings some challenges to the people. So I think that makes the game a little bit different than what you see out there in some of these other games.
Yeah, it's pretty much like an offensive show when he gets out there, and that's what people come to see. They love seeing those games like that and love seeing the athletes. The Big 33 Football Classic is coming up Saturday, June 15th. Kickoff will be a little after 7 o'clock. For more information, tickets, and all about the Big 33, go to the website. It's big33.org. That's big33.org. For information about CPRS, their website is cprsweb.com. And also you can call them toll free at 1-866-279-6999 and all the contact information. And you can hear this interview again on our website at WHP580.com. Click on Air, then Michael Parks. We'll continue with the guys on the Big 33 in just a bit. We are taking care of business on Saturday mornings on WHP 580. Taking care of business Saturday mornings on WHP 580. Michael Parks along with Jeff Shields from CPRS Physical Therapy, and also Dave Trimbur, the Executive Director of the Big 33 Football Classic, coming up Saturday, June 15th at Hershey Park Stadium. Kickoff a little after 7 o'clock. Dave, one of the things we wanted to talk about, so much to talk about the Big 33, let's talk about the scholarships and the sponsorships.
Yeah, everybody knows the game, but part of the reason why we do what we do is the academic scholarships. I think there's a misconception that these kids in this game are who's getting those scholarships. The answer is no, they have their scholarships.
Yeah.
They have athletic scholarships to go on, and even the cheerleaders have athletic scholarships to go on. So what we have done since 1985, we've been able to award $4.1 million in academic scholarships that we've raised through our various fundraisers, through the game and everything else that we do. We get about 5,000 to 5,500 applicants each year for scholarships.
Wow.
And you've seen that number go up recently just because I think some of the hard times and things that happen out there. But, that's why this is being able to continue, and our sponsor support and the things that we do, not only to help provide the buddy programs, but these scholarships. And, we have a great scholarship committee that goes through those 5,000 applications each year to award scholarships.
Yeah. And, we would be remiss, and we know that here at our radio stations, but your sponsors. Man, you got a great list of loyal sponsors, great sponsors who really help you make this game happen.
Yeah, if we didn't have the sponsors,
yeah.
we would never be able to make this happen. They're the ones, CPRS has been tremendous in supporting us, and we thank them for having us on today. We have PNC, we have numerous crons. I couldn't even go through the whole list.
Sure.
If without them, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. The other thing which is really cool, I didn't realize this, you have a thing which is called the Hot 100. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we started that about 4 years ago in conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Football Coaches Association. Each year, it's also known as the PSFCA, they gather a list of the Hot 100 players in the junior class and the sophomore class each year across the state. We bring them out to the game. We recognize them at the game. In the last 2 years, that list has developed into having both Big 33 teams for the last 2 years. The players were notarized the year before and have made the team. And we have a Ultimate Player Showcase that is before that game that we bring one of our partners, Crons, in, who puts them through a great program, their Goals and Adversity program, that helps kids understand that, hey, when you're down or something happens your way, you turn an ankle and you're out for a game, or something in your personal life happens, everybody needs to know how to handle that, and this program helps them overcome that. And then we put them out on the field, and we do pro-style workouts where we time their 40s, their pro agilities, the shuttle runs, all of that stuff, and we're able to provide results for them. And what we find out is those kids being exposed to it that day, seeing that game, they go back and work harder over that next year because they want to make and be in the game from that point.
Well, as we wrap things up, just the exciting game coming up later this month against Maryland. Anything on the horizon that you can tell us about? Any changes or any upcoming games or anything exciting?
Well, I can tell you last year we started the Big 26 Baseball Classic, which is Pennsylvania versus Maryland in a similar format. That's the last weekend in July, and it's down at Metro Bank Park this year, a 3-game series. The following year, we will be getting into the Big 24 Lacrosse Classic, which will be the boys' series against Maryland, and Sweet 28, which will be the girls. So now we've entered into girls' sports in August of 2014.
You just don't have enough time. Jeff, we will have to bring him over. Maybe give him some work. Looks like he says, he's probably got enough work. He works all year long on this, and now he's expanding anymore. But you got a great staff.
We got a tremendous staff, and we got an outstanding volunteer base. If we have 200 people come game week to volunteer their time throughout the year and game week to help us pull this thing off. I mean, we run with 5 part-time staff and 1 full-time staff member to pull all of this stuff off throughout the year. And if we didn't have great partners like CPRS to help us take care of the athletes and work with us on other things, as they will continue to be the athletic training partner for the Big 26 and Big 24 as we go forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day because, this is really busy for you, but to come in and share with our listeners, about the Big 33 Football Classic. And Jeff, what a great teaming up with a wonderful organization and group like this, and sharing your talents and expertise with them. So it's really cool that you really love working with these guys, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we're going to partner with someone or collaborate, we want to make sure that they have the same ideas and same goals that we do, and that's providing the absolute best health care for these student athletes.
That's right. The best in Pennsylvania, and you guys got the best available treatment. It's CPRS, their website, cprsweb.com, CPRS Physical Therapy, toll-free number 1-866-279-6999. You can find all the information about the Big 33 Football Classic, easy, big33.org. The game is coming up Saturday, June 15th, kickoff a little after 7:06 at Hershey Park Stadium. All right, that'll do it for us for this week. Stick around. Medical Matters is coming up next, followed by the Plant Doctor, and I will talk with you next Saturday morning at 7. I'm Michael Parks, and we are taking care of business on Saturday mornings on WHP 580.